Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this presentation on our new Lee Academies Trust Special Educational Needs and Disabilities Strategy. The purpose of the strategy is to guide us towards exemplary practice within our academies for those pupils with special educational needs and disabilities. The strategy isn't dated, the idea being that as local and national policy changes and as practice develops, we can evolve the strategy to ensure we're always moving towards that exemplary practice for our pupils. The strategy opens with our commitment to SEND, which is made for the Trust by our CEO, Simon Beamish. And what Simon has done through this statement is really carefully link our Excellence Charter to our SEND strategy. And what this shows is that we've always been working towards that exemplary practice and that SEND is very much at the heart of what we do. Simon has set some very high aspirations here of things we're working towards achieving for those pupils with special educational needs. And that's a key feature of the strategy, aspiration and being aspirational for this group of pupils. And I'm sure you'll see that as you look at other aspects of the strategy with me this afternoon. This is our Excellence Charter, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Again, it's just there so you can make those links between the two different parts and see how we've always been working towards that exemplary practice for this group of pupils. These are some of the key features of our SEND provision already within the Trust that it's worth us reflecting upon. So we have our two special academies. They're meeting the needs of pupils with profound, severe and complex needs and those with autism spectrum disorders, and they're doing an amazing job for those pupils. 9 of our academies have specialist resource provisions or designated specialist provisions within them for pupils with a wide range of needs that are listed there. 4 of our academies have milestone academy satellite provisions on site, allowing for the sharing of good practice. Each of our academies has an ELSA on site, looking after the emotional well-being of our pupils. And our SENCOs are either qualified with the National Award or are currently working towards it, which is a great position of strength to be in. 3,101 of our pupils, as of my last count, which is 15.3% of the pupils within our trust, have special educational needs. That is a significant number of young people that we need to be sure we're doing the absolute best for in our practice. The strategy includes this shared understanding of SEND inclusion. I think this is really important because every single one of our academies is an inclusive academy, but that vision of inclusion can look slightly differently depending on the context of that individual academy. So pulling together what unites us, what we can share, is really important, and it gives us a good basis from which to build the strategy on. Just to say that the whole strategy is available within the Curriculum Advisors microsite area of LAT 1. So if you'd like to read it in more detail at a later date, it's there and available for you to do so. So I'll go through the 4 strands of the strategy now. The first one is to do with Trust SEN leadership. The first 2 points on this slide are around our commitment to provide the appropriate provision for the pupils within our communities and to make sure that we are developing that provision to meet the needs of our communities as their needs may change. So we're making a commitment to continue working with local authorities to provide high quality placements in SRPs, DSPs, special academies, so that we're meeting that need. We're going to continue to develop our central support team, including therapies, so that we might have special, speech and language therapists, physiotherapists, etc., within that we can draw upon from within the trust to help us develop our practice. We're going to work with SEND specialists within our local authorities to develop our own system of record keeping. We serve 4 different local authorities, and that can put a lot of pressure on our SENCOs to manage the demands from those local authorities. And by centralising our systems, we can support each other in our practice. Co-production is a key feature of our practice. Co-production is where pupils, parents and staff work together to identify the priorities for a pupil, and those again are based on aspiration. Where do we see the child in the future? What are the long-term aims? We're going to continue to develop our SEND talents across the trust, so making sure we have expertise that we can draw upon. We're going to develop our guidance for parents. We have quality first teaching guidance. We're going to be looking at ordinarily available provision within our academies. What's our basic SEND entitlement for our pupils? We're going to continue to develop our academy sites so that they are fully accessible, not only to pupils, but to parents, staff and visitors. Trust governance is also going to have a representative for championing SEND within the board, as is similar within each academy's governing board. I'm going to continue to work with individual academies to develop their SEND provision as well. When we're thinking about academy SEND leadership, we're going to make sure that our SENCOs have the resources they need to strategically lead SEND across their academy. And we're going to make sure that SEND is a key priority within our leadership team discussions. We're going to make sure that we have robust identification in place for our pupils. Can we identify their difficulties so that we can put in place the most appropriate provision? Our SENCOs are going to produce an annual performance agreement, which is going to set out their academy's priorities for SEND pupils, so that we've got that laser sharp vision on what we need to do to improve our provision within each academy. SEND CPD is going to be a priority for us, making sure that staff have the knowledge and skills they need to provide for those pupils within their lessons, but also within our wider school communities. And we're going to continue to work on closing that gap in achievement for our pupils. But not just achievement, we're also going to think about making sure our pupils with SEND attend and have the same behaviour statistics as those without SEND. So thinking about those three key measures. We're going to make sure that all senior and middle leaders are highly skilled in assessing the relevance of the curriculums offered for pupils with SEND. Within teaching and learning, we're going to make sure that our pupils with special needs have a broad and balanced curriculum without any curriculum narrowing. We're going to make sure that they have equal opportunity to develop the IB approaches to learning in the schools that follow the IB, and that we're going to make sure that that's adapted to the individual so that they can make appropriate progress. We're going to set ambitious targets for our pupils with SEND. We're going to make sure that they work towards achieving their Progress 8 targets. We're going to make sure they leave their statutory education with relevant qualifications and skills so that they can move into the world of work in the future. We're going to make sure they have a rich CV. We're going to provide them with additional opportunities so that they can build their skills beyond just the academic, to make sure that they've got skills for independent living and skills that they can take into the workplace. Within our primaries, we're going to have a high focus on the importance of reading and making sure that our pupils with SEND achieve well with their reading skills, ready to move into their secondary education. We're going to make sure that every teacher is highly skilled in meeting the needs of low attaining pupils and SEND pupils so that they get the best possible classroom teaching. And we're going to ask teachers to be fully involved in the production of SEND pupil plans, ensuring targets set linked to curricular goals. That's something our primaries have got well embedded in their practice, but that's a challenge for some of our secondaries due to their size and the number of teachers that pupils have. In the next section, thinking about provision, intervention and accessibility. Academies are going to continue to develop their accessibility on site. So this is thinking about the resources and the materials they use to make sure that pupils can fully access every aspect of their life within the school, but also so that other people visiting the site can as well. We're going to ensure that we're providing high quality digital tools so that pupils can improve their digital skills, again, ready for their life in the world as it is at the moment. Making sure that we're working with developers to make sure we've got suitable accessibility features that ensure that all pupils, regardless of their special needs, can develop those digital skills. We're going to develop our SEND support strategies across the trust, hopefully learning from each other. When one academy develops a strategy that's highly effective, we want to stretch that out and spread that across other academies so we have the same approach. We want to develop our LSAs so that they are the most highly skilled in supporting pupils within the classroom and they're having a real measurable impact on learning, thinking about how we can develop their skills and talents further to ensure that's happening consistently across the trust. We're going to provide our pupils with research-proven interventions making sure that those children that do need provision just beyond the classroom are receiving the best possible tools from which to make progress, and that those link back to curriculum skills in the classroom. We're going to regularly review progress with those interventions to make sure they're highly effective. The last slide just details some of the priorities that I've been working on since the strategy was developed, and you'll just see there, looking at that some of these things are already well in progress, and hopefully they will bring about a quick embedding of the strategy within our academies. As I mentioned before, if you'd like to read this in more detail, it is available for you in the Curriculum Advisors microsite within LAT 1. Thank you.